Hi everybody, this is Karak with ACG, sunburned, sunblasted, and almost dead from incoming explosions as I bring to you the review of Just Cause 3, the third in the Just Cause game series, hence the title. Just Cause 3 follows Rico returning back to his homeland, the pretend Mediterranean island, to take on a Cuban Cobra commander and take him out. Luckily, the same architects who built Just Cause 1 and 2 built this one, which means the world's made of items with the structural integrity of graham crackers and oiled Jenga blocks. It's basically just Cause 2 with a different voice actor and some brand new toys, and an area that's about the same size. For many, this is going to be the most pleasant of ideas, a remembered romp through a revitalized video game engine. For those with sequelitis, the painful disease where sequels end up causing horrible rashes, it's going to hurt just the same despite the sheen that's been applied here. So let's do this. As always, if you like the video, maybe subscribe. So here's the review for Just Cause 3. 20's the new 30, Rico spiderweb shooting 3.0, and teaching the local populace that killing everyone makes you a better dude than the guy who just seems content with his army in control of the local banana trade. Graphics are up first. There's no denying the polish and sheen that's prevalent from time to time here in Just Cause 3, whether it's passing over the grasslands of an island paradise at full speed in your magical wingsuit, or watching the world crumble around you devastated by a nation's worth of small and mid-size armaments. There are some times where Just Cause 3 looks good, whether it's on the Xbox One, the PS4, or the PC. Explosions and fire effects are some of the best you will see, with hundreds of particles exploding around those effects that you can then walk away from in slow motion without looking back like a Chuck Norris music video. There's also an absolutely increased verticality and organic feel to the entire landscape that does wonders to make it feel a bit more impactful on your memory than the past worlds that Rico sent to the ocean bottom Atlantis style. Additionally, all the weapons impact the world in unique ways, but it's those that end with explosive that are the best. Whether high or low, the world's crumbling ruins react accordingly and with outstanding energy, making everything feel suitably destroyable and tickling that desire to mess around that every little kid had the first time he or she smashed together some Legos then kicked them apart. Texturing sadly hit and miss though, with high resolution textures for some items sitting hilariously close to really low resolution textures as well, but it's not devoid of some of the presentation prowess that we would expect for a title. Just Cause 3 looks like about what you would expect it to, which is an outstandingly fresh look at paradise if it was on fire. But sadly, it's the frame rate that's spectacularly bad on all the platforms. Try to enter into a busy world area and unleash heretical levels of human red mist and watch the frame rate crawl around the floor like a drunk looking for the last peanuts. It's atrocious. It's some of the worst continued frame rate drops I've seen many times over, even when nothing's exploding. Though that's not what the game is about, it still can drop frames without hesitation, even when you're just, say, walking in the forest. It cannot stick at 30 frames per second. Honestly, I have not been this disappointed in a title in a long time. This isn't acceptable for a title like this. It's not even close to enjoyable, and its impact occurs when the gameplay requires higher fidelity. Since the physics are connected to the damn frame rate, all of a sudden everything in the game lags and moves at a different speed compared to everything else, so aiming is thrown off as well. Add this to the fact that many areas within the game world lack the proper contact shading and shadowing, meaning most buildings look like a train set thrown down onto the ground, and not any kind of actual location that you would expect. You have a title that looks okay at times, but is so hampered by technical and artistic issues, it's usually not a very good representation of current gen console tech, aside from when explosions are going off, and unfortunately, that's when the frame rate drops. Now, the PC luckily has very few of these issues, and though it sees frame rate drops, you can always throw more power at it, but for the most part, Just Cause 3 is a game that isn't well optimized, and the dazzle of explosions wears off fairly quickly to leave you with some serious performance issues that need to be patched, and this is all post first day patch. Sound, music, and voice.
Sending additional ground forces to your location immediately. And it benefits you and the revolution to vote.
And how does stealing Cecilia's stupid scooter benefit me? Perfect parking space.
Sound is one place where just about everything in Just Cause is phenomenally well done, whether it's the chirping of paradise birds doing hump dances or the sound of booming explosions racking the earth from your thunderous RPG launches, or just you riding an airplane like a steed around the game world unleashing missile after missile into staggeringly poorly armed militia. It's all excellent. The high and low spectrum are represented very well here, and even when the entire world's crashing down around you, a statue's falling apart to your left, and the remains of your enemies are jetting off into the sky, wired to the back end of a military jet on your right, it all sounds excellent. Moving on to music. Again, I love this. The composer actually understood that you don't need to go full native to include a musical score with traditional beats and instruments. What you get is infinitely listenable and pleasant on the ears, even if the battle music's a bit bombastic and trade-off. Altogether, I enjoyed this title's music. I thought it was really good throughout, and I never once wanted to turn it off, which is saying a lot because in the past games I sort of did. Voice. Well, it's a new voice actor, and I have to admit, Rico wasn't originally known as some kind of high English-spouting theater actor, even though hilariously enough, his Just Cause 2 voice actor sort of was. Most of what Rico says leads quickly into him pulling bullet into body, and those within the cutscenes that are shared with him do a passable if somewhat laid-back job themselves. Though I admit one scientist character is actually really well done. I really liked that character, and they brought a couple smiles during playback. I'd say, as a whole, voices are done okay, but let's be honest, the script isn't that good. Gameplay. Listen, I'm not gonna lie here, you don't go and order a Big Mac and expect a taco. Not much has changed here from the previous games. Rico leaves the agency so that he can go and stop a brutal dictator with plans of taking over the world. Now, to Rico, the best way to do this is to blow the ever-living shit out of the entire world anyway, starting with this little fictional paradise, because scorched earth policies have worked so well in the past, obviously. No lie, this is a dude that is stopping someone from taking over the world by basically making it as terrible and on fire as he possibly can. Much of what happens in Just Cause 3 is the same as Just Cause 2. However, various aspects are improved as promised. You run around the world shooting, driving, stabbing, slicing, tethering, terrifying, and tank bashing the enemy into oblivion. Though, admittedly, Rico still controls like a barrel full of sentient boiled fat that's put on a pivot wheel with his lower body pedaling one way, shifting left then right, ignoring gravity and inertia, while his upper body keeps weapon leveled at continual shoulder height as you spin in place, sweeping foes with your various weapons. In the end, it still controls better than the prior titles. As a package, I'd say that the gunplay is a little bit better than Just Cause 2, but nothing to write home about. Now, Rico's outfitted with some new and some old items, with the old items seeing various improvements, like the parachute is now much easier to control and nothing like the nausea simulator that the previous title made. In the end, additionally, the new wingsuit is a consistent get-out-of-death-free card, with you able to basically ignore gravity at your own leisure using a combination of the two items together, and its improved handling means far less frustration created by the movement mechanics than the past titles. The grappling hook is now capable of multi-tethers, just like the PC mod that probably inspired the change in the first place. Luckily, the vehicle controls have not been changed too much. I originally thought that they improved, but in the end they are still laggy. You know, Just Cause 3 isn't going to be known for its car driving physics or its car driving handling. Let's just get used to it. Luckily, for the most part, the destruction is completely intact in Just Cause 3, and I can't deny that awesome sheer thrill of watching about 30 buildings all apparently made of wood-textured C4 exploding at the drop of a dime. Find a spot to take over and go to work using RPGs and Iron Death to basically somehow make everyone think you're the good guy. Narrative disconnect aside, it works well, and AI changes like spawning like-for-like enemies changes up the gameplay from the previous titles. Get a helicopter and the AI will spawn helicopter shooting bad guys. It's an original idea that finds itself failing at times for some of the same reasons I think you can guess. You see, instead of strategies like, hey, let's get in this tank and use our rock against their scissors, you grab a rock and they grab a thing that breaks rocks. So then you grab your scissors and they grab a bunch of smaller pairs of scissors. What seems like fun in the end it just sort of feels a little bit forced. It's all there for you to play with, but the strategy just didn't really dole out like it does in other games. Your mileage is probably going to vary. Now, this can be disappointing because if you factor that in with the fact that aside from the changes in control, Just Cause 3 doesn't actually offer that much, and at times seems stunningly lacking in overall depth despite collectathons and challenges. Oh look, you can race in the wingsuit through some random magic floating rings. There are indeed these challenges, but the end result is a game that's not only fairly shallow, it's also defined by its own map mess, as most locations become nothing more than icons in your brain as you travel from one icon to the other, trying your hardest to remember where you are and then realizing it doesn't really matter. None of it does. Lastly, a little bit about the story, and only because the developers themselves started all of the Just Cause 3 talk by talking about the improved story that they would show us. Here's the thing about story in Just Cause titles. They've always been about the thin line between absolute chaos and too much chaos, with the stories always structured to keep you moving, or if you wanted to, allowing you to jet off on your own and see how many RPGs it takes to create your own mini black hole. While Just Cause 3 is no worse, I do have to say it's no better. So either all of that was a joke or they failed spectacularly. I can't tell which. The fact is that it's not better. In fact, it may be delivered a little bit worse and with less impact than the second title, which is some kind of horrible, successful awesomeness that bears some investigative videos later on. There's also the ability to mod your weapons and a fairly basic progression system. But in the end, it just didn't feel that deep. Fun factor. I can't lie, at times it was fun as hell, but I can honestly say it was less so than the original, and certainly less so than Just Cause 2. While it offers more with multi-tethers and the ability to walk around on vehicles instead of being stuck in the center, most of it simply doesn't add to the gameplay. In fact, though at times it's enjoyable, it simply doesn't hold up under continued gameplay unless all you want to do is destroy things. Now, I'm not going to go out there and say that that's not enjoyable, but a game where all you basically do is run around and blow shit up is fundamentally crippled from a longevity standpoint, especially if it's not backed up by an extraordinary amount of things to do and interactivity with the world, and this just doesn't have it. Now, as you guys know, I rate games on a buy, wait for a sale, rent, or never touch it again rating scale. This is a wait for a sale. I can see a lot of people getting this game and being really happy, maybe at the $60, but I can't see the majority doing so. However, if you get this thing on a sale and you just want to jump around and shoot some stuff and watch things explode, well, frankly, there is some stuff there that you can do, and it's actually really, really fun. But it's really fun in short doses. Also, if you're a console owner, this game just does have some frame rate issues, despite which of the platforms you end up getting it for. It's bad on both. You need to verify that you're okay with that. So anyway, that's it for me. I hope you guys liked the review. If you did, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, hit thumbs down as always, and peace out.
By the chopper smoothly approaching your location. We've lost visual contact. All units, stand out and search. Director still sending additional ground forces to your location immediately. This is dispatch. Request received.